All right, folks, Yishai Fleischer here. And today we're going to be talking about Canada. Probably like you, I thought that Canada was done for. I thought that, oh my God, it has been taken over by the jihadis, the Israel haters, the folks that are so called pro Palestine, but are really anti freedom, anti Canada, and calling for the destruction of the Jewish state. When the campuses in Canada had become overrun with these demonstrators who tore up the grass at Carleton, broke windows at McGill, took over these campuses, and you thought to yourself, there's just nobody who's going to stop this. The snowball is out of control and Canada is done for. Just then, suddenly a new person has come on the scene. Somebody who actually I think I met before when he worked for Stephen Harper. But Pierre Poilievre is a star, a rising star. He's Canada's opposition leader, and he may just become, with God's help, the next prime minister of Canada. Check out how he answered a question about whether Iran should have a nuclear weapon.
Yesterday you said that you endorse Israel proactively defending itself by hitting Iran's nuclear sites, which is something that President Joe Biden does not endorse. Do you not feel like this could lead to a likelihood of an all-out conventional war between Iran and Israel? And do you not agree with Joe Biden and his assessment?
I think the idea of allowing a genocidal, theocratic, unstable dictatorship that is desperate to avoid being overthrown by its own people to develop nuclear weapons is about the most dangerous and irresponsible thing that the world could ever allow. And if Israel were to stop that genocidal, theocratic, unstable government from acquiring nuclear weapons, it would be a gift by the Jewish state to humanity.
Okay, so a very rational answer. Here's how we boil it down. Very bad guys with Nazi-like ideology for world domination and eradication of the Jewish people should not get nuclear weapons. Let's remember that in World War II, there was a race to develop nuclear weapons so that the Nazis would not attain nuclear weapons first, because it was obvious that you didn't want the Nazis to have nuclear weapons. And what happens in this world is when you become anti-Israel, you also become anti-rational. And he's just giving the super rational answer. He's like, look, if you're anti-Israel and you think that Iran should have a nuclear weapon, you're crazy, right? You're going to lead this world into a place of darkness. And Canada has been led down the path of darkness. And here's a light. Pierre Poilievre, who is an opportunity for Canada to get back on the healthy track, on the God track, on the conservative track, on the rational thinking track. Let's just call it simple. You know what? Let's boil it all down. Moral compass track. Moral compass track. Where does he get his consciousness from? Well, a video surfaced of him talking about his experiences with the Jewish people in the state of Israel. Let's take a look.
Packed through Israel in my youth, and there was a wonderful rabbi who let me stay with his family, actually, in a village called Beitar. He invited me for a Shabbat because I wanted a real Shabbat experience. So when I got there, I experienced the most beautiful Shabbat ever. Here he was with his half dozen kids and his beautiful wife sitting around the Shabbat table. As the night went on, they sang these beautiful Hebrew songs. And what struck me is that more than 2,000 years ago, on the same land, the same people were singing the same songs. The Jewish people are the only people I know of who, in the same language, worship the same faith on the same land, in the same country, as they did 3,000 years ago. I want you to look at the echo of the unmatched history of the eternal Jewish people. I was able to witness that history and that resilience when then Prime Minister Harper assigned me to represent him on the March of the Living. I remember being shaken by the images that I saw there, the prosthetic limbs that had been ripped off incoming prisoners and gathered up in a storage room, the sheared hair, the jewelry, the instruments of torture. But most of all, I saw Israeli flags flying in the wind. The Star of David, the symbol of the Jewish people and now its homeland, was like a symbol of triumph. It said, from the faces of those Jewish young people, we are still here. You did not stop us. You are gone and we are still alive. Think of the trash can of history. It is filled with those who have tried and failed to destroy the Jewish people. From the Pharaoh to the Haman, to the totalitarian socialist dictators of Hitler and Stalin, all of them have been defeated. And yet the Jewish people still go on. I don't know what the world will bring tomorrow. I don't know, much less 100 years from now. But I do know this, that 1,000 years from now, whatever is going on Fridays, as the sun goes down, there will be a Shabbat in Israel. Those songs will still be sung. The Jewish people will go on, and they will still say, Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
So that's Pierre Poilievre, and a great speech there. The focus of a speech is the same as Mark Twain's famous paragraph about the Jews. The miraculous element of the Jewish people is their continued survival. He didn't say this, but I'll add in the miraculous nature of that survival is a reflection that there's a God in this world. That's why the Jewish people survive against all odds. And to see that and to be like, wait a minute, I want to line up with that eternity. There's something in that. There's a goodness in that. There's a righteousness in that. If the universe, providence, God brought the Jewish people back to the land of Israel after 2,000 years of dispersion and helped them reform their language, reform their army, make the land fruitful again, there's a miraculous element there. And you have to have eyes to see it. When you see it, you see its beauty. You see its beauty. And he sees the beauty of that resurrection, of that return, of that reestablishment. It is indeed a blessing. And I want to say that if Pierre Poilievre will be elected, it'll definitely be a blessing for Israel. He could be a partner, a supporter, and a pushback against Iran and against jihadism in this world. And so Israel will benefit from it, with that from a good partnership with Canada. But much more so is that I pray for Canada that it merits a leader like this to get back to health, to push back on the campus that is brainwashing the youth of Canada, to get back on rational thinking, on moral compass thinking. Like it's a shame for this world to lose Canada as a moral country. And it's got that inside of it. It's got that Stephen Harper ability. It's got that Pierre Poilievre ability to right itself. And I pray for Canada. It's not that Israel needs this leader in Canada so it'll be good for Israel. It'll be good for Israel if he gets elected. But the blessing is for Canada. If Canada will bless Israel, it'll be blessed back. If Canada has moral compass, moral and rational thinking, it'll be a blessing for Canada and will stop it from its free fall into jihadism and into anarchistic thinking, which is what's taking over. Folks, I want to thank you so much for being with me, and I do want to ask you to continue to support our efforts to build the land of Israel and to educate Torah around the world. If I could ask you to check out hebronfund.org. That's the Jewish community of Hebron. That is the root of it all. The forefathers and mothers, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah, are buried here. This is the tomb of Abraham and the small Jewish community that pushes back against the Arab majority. Sadly, that majority has succumbed to jihadism. Much of it there's a pro-Hamas town here, and we push back on that. So HebronFund.org for our tours, for our support. Please check it out. And also, if you want to support my continued work and my team's work to broadcast the message of the land of Israel, of Torah, of Jewish strength, and of unity around the world, around a light and not of darkness, then please go to fightforisrael.org, check out our various projects, and please do support. One more thing is, of course, support us by subscribing to our various channels. It makes a tremendous difference for you to be part of it, for you to get that continuing messaging every single day. We need a good message diet. So please subscribe to whatever form you're watching this right now. And of course, on YouTube, Yishai Fleisher TV. With that, I send you my blessings from Hebron and the land of blessings, Judea and Israel. Lots of love and lots of good things from this good land, and shalom.